This is the continuation of the Veterans in Politics International Endorsement interviews for Sunday, April 6, 2014. Welcome candidates for Senate District 8, Clayton Kelly Hurst, Jon Kamerath, and we have, I have here, it says Garrett Leduff.
Garrett Leduff, that's correct.
Very good. Good morning, gentlemen. I will read the rules that will apply to this session. A strict schedule will be adhered to without exception. This is an interview, not a debate. No redirect questions. Candidates are allowed a 1.5-minute introduction. Panelists are given 30 seconds to pose a question. Candidates have 1 minute to respond. If time allows, audience members will be invited to pose a question, and/or the panel may ask more questions. This is not a forum to air personal grievances. Complex questions that require too lengthy an answer will be disqualified. Panelists will pose their questions to one candidate or all candidates, but only if a yes or no answer can be given. Gentlemen, I think I will be the official timekeeper. When your minute is almost up, when you have 10 seconds left, I'll raise my right hand, and then as your minute expires, I will tell you thank you and continue to do that louder until we're able to proceed. So why don't we begin, and we can begin with the candidate, Mr. Clayton Hurst. Why don't you begin?
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
My name is Clayton Kelly Hurst. I am running for State Senate 8 as a Republican. I am a small business owner. I'm a real estate company. And I've been involved in politics for probably about 7-8 years, and gotten really involved the last few years. My background, I've lived in Las Vegas since about '91. Went to middle school, high school here, and so I've been a long-time resident of Nevada. I've seen a lot of the changes. Just want to get in there and make a difference.
Very good. Why don't we go down the aisle to the next candidate?
Good afternoon. My name is Garrett Leduff. I am originally from Los Angeles, California. I am a 100% disabled United States Air Force veteran. I was stationed here originally in 1979 at the age of 17. I was a member of the 474th Combat Squadron here at Nellis. After that, 6 years here, I went into the aviation transportation industry, continued to work on planes, building them, riding them and flying them and delivering them for Boeing, American Airlines, and McDonnell Douglas. I've been married for 22 years, been a member of the IAM, UAW, and TWU as a union steward. I have an extensive knowledge of aviation, transportation, and manufacturing. I'm running in Senate District 8 because of the things that I'm seeing going on here in the state of Nevada. I'm calling all veterans to come to action and retirees, just like I am, putting it on the line, and I'm running. And I'm asking for your vote.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Kamerath, you're next.
Hi, my name is Jon Kamerath, and I'm the Independent American Party candidate for Senate District 8. I have lived in Las Vegas for 18 years. My wife and I have been married for 10 years. I'm an Army brat, and my father retired as a Fulton colonel. I am a nurse at UMC Hospital, and I've been active in politics for several years. I'm a member of the Independent American Party State Executive Committee. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Let's move on with the questioning from the panelists. Melissa Broadway, would you like to lead us off?
Sure.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My question was about the mining tax. Obviously, this is a massively hot button for 2014, as it appears to be the amendment to the Nevada Constitution. I was wondering where you stand on the mining tax and how this fits into your platform. Oh, do I ask?
Who's that?
Ask them all?
Well, you can ask one candidate. That doesn't sound like a yes/no question, so pick whichever candidate you want.
Okay, Mr. Hurst.
Okay. From what I have seen or heard about the mining tax, it was proposed by, I think, Michael Roberson, And I'm not sure exactly how much if it's for removing the constitutional amendment that protects mining. Generally, I would be against taxing mining more. From what I know about mining, which is not terribly a huge amount because I'm not involved in that, is it takes a lot of upfront and startup costs to start a mine. And sometimes it could be 10 or 15 years just getting a mine going. So when you have those kind of startup fees and capital investment, it's hard to try to levy a tax 10, 15 years later after you've already started a project. And so
Thank you, sir. Yeah.
Maybe wave your hand or something.
Well, okay, I should have waited.
I should have looked at her.
No, that's okay. Would you want to take 5 seconds to finish that thought?
I would be against it
Okay.
as it stands now.
Thank you, appreciate that. Mr. Klesberg, would you like to ask a question?
Same question to Mr. Garrett Leduff.
I'm absolutely for raising mining taxes and gaming taxes. Right now, currently, if you take a $10 bill, gaming pays 67 cents out of that $10 bill. 6.75% taxes, that's what they pay. It's not fair. Yet, we're coming out with a TEI initiative to try and fund education and raise taxes on small businesses. Fundamentally, that's not fair. I'm for raising taxes and making them pay their fair share.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Holt, you're up.
One of my interests are we're asking about law enforcement. They've been asking to raise taxes to provide for more law enforcement officers. What is your take on that? What would you do? How would you handle it? And how would you provide more law enforcement officers without it?
Who is this to?
Actually, I guess Kelly.
Man, I'm the favorite so far.
Kelly, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We'll try to spread it around, but you're up, Mr.
All right. Well, as a legislator from the state, I wouldn't have a lot of decision making on how many cops or I think that's more of a county commission or the city City of Henderson or the City of Las Vegas, City of North Las Vegas. Generally, I would like more police, and I think that proposal you might have been referencing was at the county commission, and it was to raise the sales tax by a few cents or a few percent or something like that. I would generally be against it. I didn't read it. I didn't read the bill that was proposed or whatever was proposed, but from what I heard, it didn't really call for more police. It called for more administration, and I would definitely be against that.
Thank you, sir. All right, Mr. Angel, do you maybe have a question for?
Can we follow up on that? That's a very important issue. Do you have
Only if we generally don't do follow-ups unless one of the candidates specifically wants to come back to that, or one of the panel members wants to come back to that.
This is a Greg Oliver with yes/no question. Do you support the gross receipt tax proposal?
No.
Mr. Leduff?
No, I already stated that.
Mr. Kamerath?
I oppose.
All right, very good. Buddy Charles?
May I call you Garrett?
Absolutely.
As one disabled veteran to another, I asked the previous guy something about veterans. I'm going to ask you, what can you do to help the veterans like myself that are 10% disabled, who are fighting for 100% disability, who are waiting for the people in Reno to get off their butt? They're 3 years behind and nobody seems to be doing anything about it.
I went through it. I'm with veterans every day. I go through it. First of all, the adjudication process is wrong. There is no board up there making a decision. There's one person, whether or not people realize that. One person making a decision based on the information that he has in front of him. That Reno office should not even be up there. It should be down here servicing the veterans in southern Nevada, where the majority of the veterans live. That's my opinion. I've been through it. I know how frustrating it is, not only for the veteran, but for the family that goes through it also when a service member is disabled. It should not take 3 years. Fundamentally, what should happen is, just like you file your income taxes, the benefit of the doubt per Article 32 already states that the veteran has the benefit of the doubt, and it should be given to them. And now later on in that process, if someone wants to review it like they do taxes, then review it.
Thank you. Thank you. Ms. Kenton.
My question is for Mr. Leduff. So if you were voted into office, what is your #1 initiative that's most important to you? And what is your realm of influence? How are you, what's your strategy to execute on your initiative and make sure it happens?
First off, this is about relationships. Politics is about relationships like anything else. If I have a good working relationship with you, we're going to work together in the future. I want to work for the benefit of the veterans and the people of the state of Nevada. You have to build these relationships. They come over a period of time, but fundamentally they start at the beginning where everybody lays their cards on the table and they look at the problem systematically and get informed about it, make an informed decision. Not in the interest of special interest, but in the interest of the people of Nevada. And that's what I plan on doing. I don't know if that answers your question.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Jefferson.
Okay. I have 2 yes or no questions for the whole board. The first part of it is yes or no. Are you for, Clark County is the only county in the state of Nevada that has not legalized prostitution. Are you for it, yes or no? And then the second part would be, do you think it could positively affect the economy in Clark County?
So why don't we give each person, it's not a strictly yes, no, we'll give each person 15 seconds to answer that. Why don't we start with you, Mr. Kamerath?
Well, the state legislature has left that up to the counties to decide. I'm running for the legislature, not the county commission. So I think that following along with what the legislature wants, it is up to the commission. I personally think that there must be a reason why most people in Clark County don't want prostitution legalized here. I believe that's the truth, and that's how I personally feel. I would oppose it, but
Are you for it? That's the question.
no, I'm not.
Thank you, Mr. Leduff.
No, absolutely not. We already have it. If they wanted, then go up to wherever it's legal.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hurst.
I'm a little undecided on it. I tend to be a little bit more lenient on personal choice, and if somebody wants to engage in that profession, you know, I did like what he said about the commission, you know, leaving it up to the counties. As far as a yes, straight yes, no, it's tough. I would probably be more lenient towards yes.
That's okay. And then the second part of the question, though, was do you, even if you aren't for it or you are, do you think it could positively affect the economy financially?
Positively? Yeah, because right now, the money that's being made in that industry is all underground. So it's all on the black market. So it would positively.
All right. Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions? Yes, sir. Please stand and state your name. Why don't you approach and speak into the microphone? And who would you like to address the question to, sir?
The question, you were hitting my camera. Okay. All right. The question I have is really simple. Are you for more police officers? Are you for more police officers and taxing or not? I just like an individual yes or no.
Well, let's start with Mr. Hurst this time.
Am I for more police if it's a tax increase?
More police officers with taxes or without taxes?
I'm for, if we can do more police without taxes, that's what I would say.
I'm for more police officers, but not at the expense of tax-paying citizens.
Okay, what did you say about the tax situation? Are you saying that we have to have taxes in order to have more police officers?
I'm saying that I'm not for the current tax initiative to fund Metro Police. No,
Okay.
I'm not for that.
No new taxes.
Mr. Kamerath?
Yeah, I feel the same way. I oppose increasing taxes to provide for more police.
All right, in other words, all of you are saying exactly the same thing. If there are no increased taxes, you're willing to have more police officers. Is that correct? John?
Yeah, we can provide more police officers with a better administration.
Better administration or a different way to
At
pay
the
for it?
Sheriff's Department, which
A different way to pay for it? Would you agree with that, Garrett?
I'm sorry, you need to clarify this, because this is a very important issue.
Yes, it
We're
is.
talking about taxation, but I need a clarification on your
The
question.
clarification is tax or no tax. That's the
Why don't
clarification.
why don't you
For
finish
police
your,
officers-
hold on. Let's have some order here. Why don't you give your complete question, and then we'll have
All
him
right,
respond.
the
and then
complete
move on.
question is, I believe all three of you said you'd like more police officers. I think all three of you said as long as there wasn't any additional taxes. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct. I am not going to go along with the current proposal to tax the residents and fund the police department.
Mr. Hurst, did you want to add anything to that?
No.
All right, Mr. Kamerath, did you want to add anything?
I agree with what you're saying, that I would like to see more police officers on the streets, and I believe in doing that without increasing taxes. I would oppose increasing taxes, but this is the legislature, like Mr. Hurst pointed out, and that's a commission issue. And
So when I propose...
Well, no more follow-up, just move on to some more panel members if we could. We'll see if we have time to come back to you, sir. Thank you. Are there any other panel members? I think Mr. Kamerath did not have an opportunity to address any question posed directly to him that didn't go to the other candidates like we did with the other candidates. So is there anybody here that has a question solely to Mr. Kamerath?
Yeah, I have one. I'll
Thank you, please.
Okay, hi. I was wondering if you could give us a brief synopsis of 3 principles that your campaign platform stands on.
Reduce the size of government, cut spending, and cut taxes. There's your 3.
Very good. We still have a little bit more time. Is there anybody else that has a question? I see a gentleman in the back. Please come forward. Why don't you come over here and use one of these microphones. Thank you.
Away from my camera.
Tell us your name and then ask your question.
How you guys doing? My name is Dave Schoen. I'm actually running for State Senate District 9, so I'm up right after you, but I had a question ahead of time. The Department of Defense recently said stated that the troop drawdown, because of the drawdown in the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, they will be cutting troop levels to pre-World War II strength. That means a lot of veterans, a lot of military members now will be leaving the military and coming back to our state. What are you going to do? And I don't know if I need to ask this as a blanket question or not, but what is your plan to make sure that these veterans have jobs when they come back and better educational opportunities?
Who do you want to ask that question to? And then I'll ask the panel members if they want that question directed to the other 2 candidates. Why don't you pick one first?
Mr. Hurst.
Okay. As one person, you can't really structure the economy in a way to segment for one person or one group of people. But overall, in the economy, we need to lessen the burden on small businesses. One of the big things that I would like to do is get rid of the modified business tax, which basically taxes you on employing people. So if we can rid ourselves of that tax, then companies won't try to have the minimum amount of people to staff their business, which would then in turn open up more employment opportunities for people returning for more, or people that are living here right now, or people that are looking for a job, which there's a lot of those people. So that's one of my main platform ideas.
Great. Panel members, what's your pleasure? Do you want, is there someone who wants to pose an additional question, or do you want to hear the responses from the other 2 to the same question? Mr. Holt, what's your
I'd like to hear Mr. Leduff's opinion on that. Give him an opportunity. I mean, we have a lot of veterans that are going to be leaving the armed forces. How are we going to provide, employment for them? I mean, if they're coming down here.
And then we'll have Mr. Kamerath also respond.
And yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Leduff.
When my duties as a leader and as a state senator is to be honest with you and tell you that there are no jobs here for them. That's my job to tell you the truth. We always talk about diversification from gaming and mining, but nobody's doing it. The reason why they're not doing it is because they don't know how to do it or they don't have the will to do it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get on an airplane. I'm going to fly up to Seattle, Boeing, where I work and I have relationships. I'm going to go to California, where the movie industry is. There's not a single program we put on TV, and within a 10-minute span, Las Vegas is not on there somewhere. And I'm going to talk to these people, and I'm going to give them the incentives to come here. I'm going to explain to them why they should come to Nevada, because of the business-friendly environment. But to answer your question, there are no jobs for veterans here. There's no jobs for our high schoolers that are coming out of high school right now. That's the reality of it. Nobody's telling you the truth, but I'm here to tell you the truth. So I would tell the veterans at this point, they're pretty much on their own right now, because nobody in the state of Nevada is looking out for veterans. I will when I get up there, but right now, nobody is.
Thank you. Mr. Kamerath.
Thank
Would
you.
you like to respond? Yes, sir.
I mentioned in my intro that I was an Army brat. My father was is a combat veteran from Vietnam. I remember the day he left, I was 4 years old. It was 1969. And so afterwards, he came back. He was in active duty for about a decade later, and then he went into the reserves. But he was able to avail himself of the GI Bill, which did provided great benefits for him. So I think the integrity of that bill and those benefits need to be maintained and shouldn't be weakened. I also think that we have a mechanism in place in Nevada here, the Nevada Department of Veterans Services. To the extent that they are not providing the benefits for the veterans in Nevada, they need to be held accountable for that. And as a state senator, that would be a high priority for me.
Thank you. Gentlemen, we just had another panelist join us, Lillian Babcock. Lillian, I understand you would like to ask a question?
Yes, that's me. That was long. Okay. So my question is this. Currently, and this is a yes or no question, would you support a bill that allows you to opt out of sex ed rather than in? In the cases, right now, the system is in place that you have to opt into sex ed. So it's the opposite. So would you support the bill, yes or no?
And it's to opt in instead of opt out?
Right. So the current system is in place that you have to opt into sex ed. So you're more or less given the choice, but you go home with a waiver and you have to opt into sex ed. You're not given it automatically. So would you support a bill that would, you would still have a choice, but you would automatically be able to have a class?
So you'd be in already until you were
yes.
out?
You're still given the choice.
Yeah.
You have the option, but if your parent doesn't sign it, then you are in sex ed. So you're given the option. The parent has every right at that point. But would you support the bill that allows them to opt in automatically? So they have to opt out then?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It doesn't seem like there's much difference.
There is, because if your parents don't sign it, then right now, if parents don't sign it, you can be in it. You're not given sex ed at all. You don't have that option at that point then.
Okay. Then yes.
Let's go down the line, Mr. Leduff.
Let me get this straight. If a waiver is sent home,
yes,
and the waiver is not signed, giving authorization, then the child or the student does automatically get enrolled into
yes,
it?
and I'm asking if you would support a
Yes,
bill like that.
I would support that.
I oppose.
You oppose?
All right. Is there any panel member that has a pressing question that you really want to get in? And yes, sir, Mr. It looks like we're going to go to Mr. Charles, and then Mr. Klesmer, and then Angel, and if we got time, Kate. Let's try to strictly adhere to the rules here. One question per person, and let's try to stay under a minute if we can. Mr. Charles.
Okay. My question, first off, I'm a cancer survivor, and so my question is this: yes or no? Would you support legalization of marijuana in the state of Nevada?
Recreationally?
No, medically.
Oh, it's already legal.
Try.
For medical marijuana? Yeah. I mean, listen, voters voted for it.
I'm sorry, I'm interrupting. It is not legal.
Well,
you can get arrested when you go to get it. And then you have to pay $500 to get that little ticket in your pocket. That's all I'm going to say.
So you want the same question to the rest of the candidates?
Yes, I do. Yeah, to everybody. Yes, I do, to everybody.
Mr. Leduff, do you understand the question?
I'm quite adamant about this, so.
I support medical marijuana.
I also support.
Very good. Who is next? Mr. Klesmer.
Mr. Leduff, you stated earlier that you wanted to go more into detail.
Use your microphone, please.
Mr. Leduff, you said you wanted to go into more detail about the what Mr. Holt was saying earlier about police. Now is your opportunity to go further into detail of what you wanted to say earlier.
Sure. Originally, Sheriff Gillespie went up to the state Senate and asked for 25%, not 15%. Now, in my opinion, that was a golden opportunity to open a dialogue and a relationship to bring the Metropolitan Police Department back to the hands of the citizens of Nevada and the people of Las Vegas. Because currently, they're not controlled by the citizens of Nevada. They're controlled by other entities. So originally, the senators had the opportunity to set the tone and to open up a dialogue and to handle this problem. Instead, what they did is they said, okay, we'll give you 15%, now go away and go back down to Las Vegas, which was wrong. We got to stop taxing and taxing and taxing our way into recession, because that's what we're going to continue to do. So that's what I wanted to say. Originally, it was 25%, not the 15% that you're seeing now. Now also, that should come with some stipulations and some benchmarks. We don't just give money away and we're facing all these lawsuits. And that's why I wanted to talk about this. It's a very, very important issue.
Thank you. Who's next? Go ahead.
Mr. Leduff, Nevada has an estimate of a $7 billion shortfall for underfunded pension liabilities. How would you address that?
Right now in North Las Vegas, first of all, they went into negotiations I thought wrong. They started already sharing services with Las Vegas. And so that sends a clear message when you go in to negotiate that, you know what, you're really not that important. We can kind of do without you in the first place. So fundamentally, I think that's wrong over there starting off. Getting back to, you know, the deficit, had the voters who voted on the medical marijuana over 10 years ago, had their will been followed through, we wouldn't be facing these deficits that we're facing now. You know, the will of the people, democracy, was done, but these administrators and legislators have not done it. That's their job, to do the will of the people. And had they done that, you look at the millions of dollars that have gone out of the state. Not to mention, you know, my mother was not a cancer survivor, and she died at 11, when I was 11. 44 years old of colon cancer. That's just another war on the fight against cancer, in my opinion. And it's fundamentally wrong.
Ms. Clayton, do you have a
yes.
question?
This is yes or no for all of you. Are you pro-life? Yes or no?
Let's start with Mr. Leduff in the middle first.
I'm pro-life, but I'm pro-choice.
Mr. Kamerath?
Pro-life.
Mr. Hurst?
I'm personally pro-life, yes.
Tell you what, we got a little bit of time. What I want to do is give each of you a chance to close with some closing remarks. Take about 30 seconds. And I want to do Mr. Leduff, Mr. Hurst, and Mr. Kamerath. We'll close with him. And maybe you gentlemen want to point out why we should vote for you over your other candidates. So go ahead, sir.
I want to thank you guys for being here today, because it's important to you, it's important to me. It's a Sunday. I could be other places, but you know, it's time to step up to the plate. It's time to pitch in. Blindly looking away, you're part of the problem. And that's why I got into this race. I'm going up there to work and to represent the everyday people of Nevada, the working men and women, and the disabled, and the veterans, and the people that have earned their benefits. These are not entitlements, these are benefits that we've earned. Whether you're retired from the military or not, we owe our kids, well, the same thing that we got. And that's why I'm running. And I need your vote, I need your help.
Thank you. Mr. Hurst.
I want to first thank you guys for having us here. This is great, and really appreciate the opportunity to come and answer your questions and speak to everybody. And you know, I'm out there every day just meeting as many voters as I can, and definitely would appreciate the endorsement and your support. And I'm going to give you guys all a card, and if you ever have any more questions, feel free to give me an email or anything. Thanks.
Great. Mr. Kamerath, I think you had a little bit less time than the rest of us here, but why don't you close us out?
Thank you. I also would like to thank you very much for inviting me. It's a special privilege for me because of the fact that I don't have a primary, and so I was happy to hear Steve Sampson call me and invite me to this event. I'm going right to the general election. So I look forward to meeting with you when you do your general election interviews as well, but I'm glad to be here today. Like I said, that my father is a Vietnam War veteran. My father-in-law, in fact, is in his 90s and is a World War II Battle of the Bulge veteran. So veterans issues are very important to me. And also I want to point out, I'm with the Independent American Party. You're going to see a lot of candidates on your ballot from the IAP. And I ask you to consider voting for them because in my entire life, all we've ever had is Republicans and Democrats. And I don't think we've been really going the right direction my whole life as far as government goes. So I understand the proper role of government, and that's why I'm running for the state senate. Thank you.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your participation in the Veterans in Politics International Endorsement interviews. This concludes the interviews for Senate candidate District number 8. Thank you very much, gentlemen.